What the fuck? This isn't Ratchet and Clank. I don't like change! I'm sorry, I won't do that again, I promise. Make sure you skip the opening cutscene, because if you don't, the same scene will play when you start a new game, and it's unskippable. Better list the game's name on the title screen twice, just in case people thought they were playing some other filthy game. Titus, what the fuck happened to your hand? Also, yes, Titus. I know it makes more sense for it to be Titus, what with all the aquatic stuff the game throws at you, but they pronounce it as Titus in Dissidia, so I'm going with that. Better than my dad calling him fucker.
Listen to my story.
Narration.
Can I have your autograph?
Of course.
Good luck signing that ball without a pen, Buster.
Oh, if I score a goal, I'll, do this.
James Arnold Taylor isn't being a gun-toting space rat in this scene. And with that, we've come full circle.
Teach us how to blitz!
Maybe tonight, well,
You can't tonight.
I mean tomorrow.
Titus takes orders from a small child he's never met before. If only all teenagers were this impressionable. Convenient broadcast talking about Jacked right as Titus sees a billboard with his face on it and gets all pissy.
I know there's a lot of people out there today to see the star of the Abes. In just 1 year, he's become the team's #1 player.
Yeah, the star whose name we keep forgetting. Seriously, did anyone stop to ask the blonde kid's name? No? And we've got our first win, boys. Otherworld is such a kick-ass song. Yeah, I mean, it maybe feels a little out of place compared to the rest of the game's soundtrack, but honestly, when you've got a song this badass, who cares? In fact, 10 wins, let's go. Now there's a man who knows how to look cool for the camera, or he's potentially suicidal. Either way, what is he doing there? How is Titus able to jump so high in the air here, and why would he want to? This seems like a ludicrous and extremely difficult way to get goals.
Oren! What are you doing here?
I need you to help me find my way out of here. My glasses hinder my vision during the night, but they're just so cool that I don't want to take them off. Is this that Zawarudo that all the kids keep talking about?
We called it sin.
Well, you heard him, boys.
Take it.
The Sin Scales are polite enough to let Oren give Titus his sword before they start attacking again.
I hope you know how to use it.
Did you not just see him flailing it around like a 2-year-old with a plastic baseball bat? Press X simulator. Unless you attack yourself or let the Sin Scale kill you, you physically cannot lose to this boss. It keeps casting Demi, which only does 1/4 of your current HP.
That. Knock it down.
How in the ever-loving fuck did Oren know that the explosion was going to cause that building to fall? That is some Ash Ketchum levels of jumping unrealistic distances. This whole scene is just strange. Why were they even running this way if they were going to get sucked up by Sin anyway, especially considering Oren knew what was happening? And how did Oren even teleport up here in the first place? I don't know, can we blame it on the Fireflies? Also, who's this tosspot? What happened to Titus? Titus survives this. I know we're sending Final Fantasy X as a game here and not as a remaster, but damn man, they actually kind of ruined the boss theme. The intro doesn't have the oomph that the original did, and boss introductions feel a little worse off for it. The PS4 and PC versions fix this by allowing you to swap between the original and rearranged soundtracks, but I'm playing the PS3 version like a peasant, so shut up. Another boss battle you can't lose because this absolute lad can only hit you for half your current HP. Wish I'd known that as a kid before I used all my potions. Despite literally being inside his mouth, the absolute lad doesn't clamp down and lets his prey escape. Does Dardigan own the patent for the Star Wipe or nah?
Cold. Need. Fire.
And the Emmy goes to... The way the waterfalls are flowing in this room makes me think the room should have flooded by now, so... I don't know, fireflies. Curse my perverted child self for thinking she was naked and that strap was digging into her cooch. I mean, what? The dudes armed with guns stand around and do nothing while gives this terrifying monster a tickle. The fuck leads them to that conclusion?
Right, whatever.
Yes, he very clearly speaks, as he has done several times since you met. Ever heard of different languages? Mind you, Titus is just as bad for not understanding simple sign language. What do you think the goggles are for? Cutting onions?
He said you can stay if you make yourself useful.
Tara Strong isn't being Ratchet's 70 billionth potential love interest in this scene. Also, if you were just spoken English in the first place, we could have avoided this whole confrontation. The Sphere Grid is personally one of my favorite leveling up systems in pretty much any game. Though it forces you to a path with very little input for a great deal of the game, there are paths you can take along the way for bonuses bonuses if you're willing to use precious key spheres. And eventually, with the use of skill spheres and whatnot, characters can break out of their role a little, allowing for, say, Yuna, the white mage, to learn black mage spells and become an offensive powerhouse with Drain, which is what I ended up doing. It sounds and looks confusing, but it's all very simple to understand and ultimately allows for a pretty decent amount of experimentation, while still having characters fit into their usual playstyle. Motherfuck! Seriously, I'm buying the patent for that Star Wipe. Alright lads, time to make a video. Huh. The first of many tentacle-themed enemies. There are a lot. Enemy with tentacles has an attack called Tentacles. Cock-a-doodle-doo, what do you want? It's only 10% guano.
I didn't get a chance to. Everyone thought we were a fiend.
We?
Oh, we means you.
Well, that's not confusing. I bet the whole Albed language was created in such a way just to make that joke.
So I told her everything there was to tell about Xanarkin.
Maybe you just had some kind of dream?
Ha! Sin's pretty close to the Albed right now, so why aren't they getting sick from Sin's toxin? If it's because you have to be even closer, which I don't know how exactly, how does anyone know if the toxin's a thing? If you're that close to Sin, you may as well kiss your ass goodbye. Tidus survives this. First the toxin, now this. No wonder Tidus has no idea what's going on half the time. This Blitzball.
You know, amateur. Who you play for?
The Xanarkin Abes.
What team you say again?
I got too, close to Sin, and my head's all foggy like.
Dude, I wish I could just say racial slurs and pass them off as my autism or something. Oh, wait.
I'm Waka, coach and captain of the Besaid Aurochs, brother.
John DiMaggio isn't bending girders in this scene. Can we just talk about Tidus' running animation? The way he just clomps around? No one runs like that. I guarantee you no one runs like that. Apparently throwing a blitzball at an enemy is enough to kill them. So wait, how did Tidus survive when he got zonked in the head before? The ball also effortlessly returns to Waka despite not having any of the characteristics of a boomerang. Also, does water just work differently in Spira? That ball just slices straight through water as if it was still thin air. Props to them thinking of a more unique weapon for a change though, rather than swords or staves. Tidus could hear Waka laughing from underwater. Fireflies?
A major blitz tournament's coming up. All the teams in Spira will be there. It's so huge, I'm sure someone there will recognize you. You can go back to your old team, right?
Spira's Blitzball League only has 6 teams made up of 6 or 7 players, so Waka probably should have heard of Tidus if he's been playing Blitzball for as long as we've been led to believe.
I joined the Aurochs at 13, 10 years ago. 10 years, and we never won a game.
You'd think after 10 years of straight losses that the team would just give up, no? Also, 10 years? Really?
No. If I say, what's our goal? You say, victory!
Now, Tidus, don't go handing out false promises.
Be on guard. There are fiends on the road today.
As opposed to any other day where fiends are also present.
Who are they?
Luzu and Gata, Crusaders.
Crews of what?
Understandable that you don't know who they are, but have you never heard the word Crusaders before?
You do remember the prayer, right?
This completely pointless choice. Tidus, back up, man. They're hands. You never seen them before or something?
Any blitzball player would know that prayer. It was the blitzball sign for victory.
You sure didn't think of that when everyone praised Yevon on the beach. Also, if you know it so well, why are you so bad at it? You don't gotta T-pose into it, dude.
The hero Mihen formed the Crusaders 800 years ago as the Crimson Blades. Later, our ranks grew and we called ourselves the Crusaders. We've been fighting Sin ever since.
What? You've been fighting 800 years and you still haven't beat it?
Tidus would be good at gaming sins.
You could at least go see how they are doing.
The pronoun game exists even in Spira.
It's been nearly a day already. People are searching for him now.
Who cares whether he comes back or not?
Do you hate him so? But if he dies, you'll never be able to tell him how much you hate him.
Good on the game for sticking to this, actually. Instead of Tidus and Jack meeting again and Tidus being all like, "I missed you, Danny." Nice change of pace.
There's a room in there called the Cloister of Trials. Beyond is where the apprentice summoner prays.
So someone is in there somewhere and they haven't come back out. Right, I got it.
A day's already gone by.
Damn, they spent a day in there? How? On one hand, this is the easiest Cloister of Trials hands down and takes minutes to solve. On the other hand, how long does it take to pray to the faith? Just waltz in there and demand your big titty bird. It can't be that hard.
Is it particularly dangerous in there?
No.
Sometimes, yes.
Waka, what the fuck?
Why don't you go in and help?
There's already guardians in there. Besides, it's forbidden.
For more guardians to go in there? What? Yevon, give me answers, please. Ah, yes, the Cloister of Trials. Personally, one of my least favourite parts of this game. They're frankly just tedious, boring, and don't really involve that much logic at all. You can only carry one sphere at any time, and unless you've done these parts before, there's just a lot of trial and error involved. For you Ratchet & Clank fans watching, imagine the Clank levels, but significantly worse. Main character has heterochromia cliché.
I've done it. I have become a summoner.
Want to try that line again? I'm still not 100% sure why I chose to name myself after Valefor, especially considering the giant pair of melons she's got, but Valefor is the best Aeon, and you're not allowed to argue.
Let me introduce you to the team. This guy here wants into the tournament so bad, I let him on the team.
Which means one of you assholes who's been with the team for years and has been putting their all into it is getting benched. Sorry, lads.
Stay away from the summoner!
Lady Yuna, be careful.
But it was really my fault to begin with.
Oh.
Thank you so much for your help earlier.
He did nothing to help, unless you count going against the teachings help.
So, tomorrow then.
Tomorrow?
We're going on the same boat, aren't we?
Oh, really?
We can talk more.
Literal ship tease.
He does look a lot like Chapu. I was surprised too, the first time I saw him.
He looks nothing like Chapu. They may as well share completely different DNA structures, that's how much they don't look alike. Lady, how many belts do you need? You trying to tell me something? I'm down for that kinky shit.
You shouldn't have brought him here in the first place.
Yeah, but he needed our help.
Excuses again?
So Waka shouldn't have brought Tidus here because he allegedly looks like Chapu? That's it? I think if you find a man floating in the ocean, his safety is more important than whether he looks like some dead guy.
Where's Yuna?
We're taking the same boat as Yuna, right? Why do we gotta wait here?
This is our journey. We should leave together.
Yeah, but fuck Kamari, he can catch up later.
If you can't beat him down, you gotta use magic of an element they don't like.
Very gracious of these fiends to let Waka and Lulu explain combat mechanics.
Spells of ice work well against fire fiends. And ice fiends are weak against fire magic. Lightning and water are opposed, just like fire and ice.
Lightning and water being opposed to each other kind of makes sense, but fire and ice? Fire would be good against ice, but have you tried throwing ice at a fire? It's just gonna get decimated. I wouldn't have expected anything less, but damn, Final Fantasy X was a good-looking game for its time. Sure, there's a bit of trickery going on here and there with pre-rendered backgrounds and varying quality of characters and cutscenes and gameplay segments, but some of the areas in this game are still beautiful to this very day. No one stops in to stop Tidus and Kamari slicing each other up for some reason. It's implied that Kamari is testing Tidus, but never mind that when he's got a spear impaled through his chest. Why did Kamari drop a blitzball? You ever do something naughty and your mum puts soap in your mouth so then you're leaning over the toilet crying and throwing up at the same time? That's what this kid sounds like. Yeah, that's a Carl Barron joke. If you haven't watched him, please unsubscribe.
Oh, them's fascinating clothes you're wearing.
Not much better than yours, midriff boy. Although Tidus' clothes are a bit of an anomaly. What's up with the complete lack of symmetry? Weird armored arm on one side, longer pants leg on the other. He's literally one leg short of a pair of pants.
What the heck is that? What is this place? Yeah, but why the big birds? Chocobos. Those are chocobos?
Discount Metal Gear Solid.
She's the daughter of High Summoner Braska. You saw his statue at the temple. Lord Braska defeated Sin 10 years ago.
Tidus never bothers to ask why Sin is still here even though Braska defeated Sin 10 years ago, instead waiting until someone explains the calm to him before questioning it. Hey man, sure, let's all practice above water, the one place where we don't play blitzball. The ball practically slices through water anyway, so who cares? Fireflies, bitches! Lean in, idiot.
You're a blitzball player, aren't you? From Xanarkand, right?
You hear that from Waka?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Waka doesn't believe me at all.
And Waka is right to think so. Xanarkand has been in ruins for 1,000 years and literally everybody knows this. Why does Yuna choose to believe Tidus, and even Jack, who told her about his Xanarkand, even knowing this?
A man named Jack told me. He was my father's guardian.
Tidus' father was Yuna's father's guardian. Because of course.
Why, that's the day that Jack came to Spira.
But,
It's true, I first met Jack 10 years and 3 months ago.
If a scene in any game or anime were an advocate for subs over dubs, it would be this. Luckily, Tidus equips iron boots while hanging onto Yuna, because he sure as hell ain't holding onto anything here. Oh no, the all-powerful world destroyer Sin approaches. Whatever will we do to quell the mad beast? Oh, okay, whatever works for you, man. Sin has 140,000 HP. Sin's side fins have 65,000 HP each. Sin's top fin? 2,000. Don't think too hard on it. Tentacles. Let's put a mother cradling her newborn child in there for maximum emotion. Is it bad if I laugh? Sin sucks up all these dudes in their homes, but gives up on the boat it just attacked because some dude threw a ball at his fin. What's up with the perspective in this shot? It makes Kilika look like a tiny rock they could just glide over at maximum speed.
What's ascending? Are we going somewhere?
Discount Jesus. Beautiful scene right here. Definitely worth a couple of wins, I think. The CG looks a little dated now, but even so, Yuna's mournful dance is practically iconic at this point, and further drives home the theme of death that lingers over the entire game. If this sending is how the dead are prevented from becoming fiends, then there must be a real summoner shortage, which sounds like something Spirit can't afford to exactly skimp out on. Of all the things to fix in the remaster, the fact that a boy saying he wants to be a blitzball when he grows up is not one of them means that Final Fantasy X is just a $30 shitpost. Final Fantasy X may not have the best battle themes in the series, personal opinion, shut up, but damn if it doesn't have some of the best field themes, dude. Oh boy, more tentacles! Seriously, do we need a tentacle counter?
As I recall, Lord Braska had only 2 guardians. Quality over quantity, my dear.
Tell that to Activision. Ayo! Surprised Tidus was allowed this far in, considering he's not a guardian yet.
Hey, I'm not a guardian, so I'm not supposed to go in, right?
Not a guardian, you say?
What's Donna Kebab doing here? Wasn't she just leaving? She couldn't have come back to mess with Tidus without previously knowing he wasn't a guardian yet. Cloister of Trials. Yuna and her posse just moseyed on through here earlier, so why does Tidus have to solve the puzzles again?
Yuna will be the one to suffer the consequences.
This is the second time it's happened and nothing has come of it. Maybe your teachings are a load of toss.
That song we heard there, in the temple, I knew it from my childhood. It was proof that Spira and Xanarkin were connected. Somehow.
Of course they were connected. Xanarkin is on the very northern edge of Spira. And let's not forget the Machina War between Xanarkin and Bevelle. Was everyone in Xanarkin a century ago just super oblivious to the rest of the outside world? Okay, wait, actually, apparently Dream Xanarkin is a version of Xanarkin that exists far out into the ocean, and all of its inhabitants believe it to be the entirety of the world. Damn, alright, poking holes in this game is a lot harder than it was with Ratchet and Clank. Still kinda stupid if you think about it, but I'll let you off this time with a win. Whatever the fuck Tidus is doing here. I like Valefor a lot, it's in my name for Christ's sake, but Ifrit's Overdrive is 100 times more badass. Overkill indeed.
Mind spotting me some gill again, lad?
Clicking yes, which in this situation would mean I do mind yes, results in you lending gil. But who rolled the ball?
You can't do it. No, you can't do. You can't. You can't. You're out of your league. You're out of your league.
Before we had Xenoblade Chronicle 2's Think You Can Beat Me, Don't Forget Me, there was You can't. All the teams are only just arriving, so who the heck is playing in the stadium? Is this the equivalent of kids footy before the actual teams come out and play real footy? Because who the fuck watches that?
Ah, over there! The ships carrying the players are arriving now!
Tom Kenny isn't being a sentient sponge in this scene.
Looks like all of Luca has turned out to cheer the goers on!
Yeah, all 12 of them. Evil Pope. Oh, he's a villain, isn't he? You can't have literal fucking scythes for hair and not be a villain. Oh, that wasn't creepy at all, Seymour. Not one bit. Please, continue to ogle your future wife in front of a massive crowd.
We're playing the Albed Sykes first.
The Albed are allowed to play at a Yevon-endorsed Blitzball tournament.
If we win, we're in the finals.
That's not how tournaments work. If there were 4 teams, sure, but how the heck do you fairly propose a 6-team tournament? Why didn't they have Bevelle and the Hypello participate to round it off? Oh wait, that means we would have had to play Blitzball 2 or 3 times in a row, and, yeah, no. Possible Mercy win?
First things first. Let's go over the basics again, boys.
And skip.
Albed Sykes, right? If you meet Riku, tell her thanks for me.
Yes, tell Riku thanks in the language you cannot understand.
Yuna!
What was that?
In 17 years, Yuna has never heard anyone whistle, apparently.
Blitzball is really the only entertainment that we have. Spira's a little short on fun these days.
Can't at least get some performers happening? Some singers, bands, actors to put on plays or something? Surely not everyone in Spira would like Blitzball. I mean, I'd probably off myself if I had to live in Spira.
Kamari, Yuna's gone.
Literally no one notices Yuna goes missing in this field cafe, nor notices the Albed kidnapping her, assuming she didn't just wander off and get kidnapped later. Either way.
Yuna's been kidnapped by the Albed Sykes.
And in the short period of time that Yuna's gone missing, Lulu already knows everything. This is awfully contrived.
In exchange for her safe return, they want the Aurochs to lose.
If the Albed kidnapped Yuna to use her as a bargaining chip in exchange for the Aurochs throwing the game, that means they mustn't have been very good Blitzball players, so what do they hope to accomplish in the finals against the Goers? Piss all, most likely. Lulu, Tidus, and Kamari take on the Albed Marketer, while any guards who should be dealing with the situation are on lunch break, I guess. Protecting the Master's vessel, sure mate. You can't see the time or the scoreboard on this monitor. Tidus and Kamari maybe, but no way did Lulu and her 10,000 belts make that jump. No way. The crane thing is an interesting idea, but it takes off 5/6 of the boss H. Oh my god. 5/6. Why did I write 5/6? You get the point. What?
The game!
Good luck getting back to the game, Tidus, because holy shit, how far out to sea are they? Lulu cast a flare, even though Lulu doesn't have flare yet, therefore cheating the entire sphere grid. Only a minute has passed since Tidus and friends went out to sea, rescued Yuna, and then, presumably, swam back. A single minute!
Unbelievable! The Aurochs win the match 3-2.
They didn't even need Tidus, they just needed to believe in themselves or some shit.
Don't go near Albed anymore, okay? They're trouble.
That's racist. Senseless vandalism. I will never understand Blitzball. Never mind the fact that it doesn't look nearly as cool as the game made it look in one of the opening cutscenes, and also the fact that people are traveling from all over to watch a couple of games that last a whopping 10 minutes, but I've tried my hardest to understand it. I've read guides, watched videos, and played game after game, and I will never understand how it works. Doesn't help that it's also a janky mess with a camera that changes at inopportune moments and a super cheap AI who thought menu-based sports were a good idea. And they expect you to play a shitload of games after this to get Wakka's celestial weapon. Fuck that right off. 20 sins. The goalkeeper's name is Keeper. I've heard of names defining your path in life, but this is ridiculous. Never mind where all these fish dudes are coming from, at least Tidus remembered to bring his sword into the Blitzball arena. Instead of running from their impending deaths, the crowd continues to cheer and watch as the Blitzers are attacked. Sadistic pricks. Ooh, I'm getting chills. Orin for best character, anyone? Seizure warning, damn it! Man, stop it with the cool Aeon designs already. It's getting harder and harder to defend Valefor, you know. Look at this cute little long-eared doggo. We must protect him.
Shouldn't you heal up first? Yuna needs me with her now.
Just use Cure, doofus.
Hey you! Don't just stand there! All of this is your fault! Getting swallowed by sin, ending up here in Spira, not being able to go back to Xanarkand, everything! Ugh, I'm telling you, it's all your fault!
The rest of this video is just going to be giving out wins because of Orin, isn't it?
Is he alive?
It depends on what you mean by alive. You must have felt him when you came in contact with sin.
It can't be.
It is. Sin is Jecht.
Now how's about that for a nice first act twist? I think it works really well, gets you more curious about the hows and whys of it all. Why is Sin here, despite being defeated 10 years ago? How does Jecht become Sin? It's a good motivation for pushing forward with the story and learning more about the world, and the answers lead to more interesting questions. I forgot my point. Good twist, subtle foreshadowing, 10 out of 10.
Fine then. Come or don't come, it's your decision.
The line that sailed 1,000 ships.
A lot of people in Spira depend on us. I learned to practice smiling when I'm feeling sad, you know.
Yeah, that's right, kiddos. Cover up those feelings with a smile and pretend like nothing's wrong. What a good moral. You knew it was coming, so let's just get it out of the way.
You probably shouldn't laugh anymore.
all laughing aside, I'm giving this scene a pity win, because I'm not sure some of you guys are aware of how acting works, but you know this laughing was supposed to be awkward, right? That's the point of the damn scene. And make sure you thank Jesus every night before bedtime that you didn't have to watch this scene in Japanese, because somehow, if you could believe it, it's worse. Just want to address something real quick. I was supposed to give Ifrit's Overdrive 10 wins, but instead I sinned it because I'm a dickhead. So let's take that sin off and slap those wins on, baby. From this point on is where the combat starts to come into its own. For a little while the game is nothing more than pick the right party member for the job, but once stronger enemies start appearing, this small detriment ultimately becomes one of the best parts of the combat. Each party member has a defined role. Tidus can hit faster enemies, Waka can hit flying enemies, Lulu kills flans and elementals, and so on, which means unlike some other RPGs where you just pick your favorites and off you go, Final Fantasy X encourages you to make full use of your party, and no one gets underutilized with the exception of maybe Kamari, who is malleable and can fit a variety of roles due to Blue Mage status. It's a great combat system with some fantastic bosses that make full use of these mechanics. This is helped even further by having the ability to switch characters on the fly by hitting L1 without sacrificing your turn, further encouraging you to use everyone in your party. I love this system, and I wish more games would use it, to be honest. Orange shows signs of dementia as he attempts to chug the jug that does not exist. Tidus is addicted to blitzballs. One of my favourite things about this game, when Yuna summons an Aeon while one of the active party members is KO'd, they get up and run off screen. But then when the Aeon is dismissed, it's like, oh fuck!
Are you all?
What great.
This might be the last time we can rest like this.
Oddly presumptuous, what makes you say that? Do you know something we don't, Lulu?
Pretty.
We interrupt this video game to bring you Stranger Things.
What did we do that was so bad in the first place? Was it using lots of Machina or something? Wait, was that such a bad thing, really?
Ever since I was young, I never questioned it.
Religious worship and never questions the teachings even though they're obviously wrong cliché.
You see, Yuna, what I mean is, you really shouldn't worry, you know? After we beat Sin, that's when you can worry about the future.
Hello to Sadwi.
Huh?
It means nice to meet you.
Ah, well, Helly do sad we to you too.
Hellbed primers can be found all over Spira. Finding them and learning our language might be fun.
Sounds like a massive pain in the ass to teach someone your language by having them find 26 books, each giving them knowledge of a single letter. Though, tying a collectible to the translation of an in-game language is a great way to actually get people to find your collectibles. It's pretty neat, man. I call everything neat. I need a bigger vocabulary. A boss that punishes you by knocking you off a cliff and forcing you to take the long way around. Cool idea, even though we're gonna go down that path anyway for all the chests and stuff. What's the point of resting at inns if the save spheres get the job done just the same? Bit of an oversight, methinks. The game doesn't play Crazy Chocobo while riding a chocobo. I'm sure some of you would count that as a win, but that's a sin in my books. Don't judge. Oh shit, sorry, left my antagonist theme music playing. Hey, how you doing?
Both the Crusaders and the Al Bhed truly wish peace for Spira.
But using Machina, that's bad, isn't it?
Pretend you didn't see them.
Beg your pardon, but that's not something a maester should say.
Then pretend I didn't say it.
My villain radar is going off the charts. Or maybe it's my gaydar, I'm not sure. Still, early voice acting aside, Seymour's a pretty cool bad guy. So much of his dialogue is memorable and suitably sinister. I take back what I said about Final Fantasy X having good field themes. What the fuck even is this song anyway? There's no discernible melody or motif, and it's way too repetitive. That's not where you're supposed to put a mask, mate, unless you've got a literal dickhead. If there's one thing to criticize about 10's combat, it's how repetitive the enemies get. There's really only a couple dozen individual types of enemies in the game, which end up just being palette swapped several times throughout, and all of them pretty much require the same strategy to beat. Some more enemy variety would have been welcome.
It's about your brother. I'm the one who convinced him to enlist.
When we used to play Blitz together, Chapu used to say, that when we won the cup, yeah, he proposed to Lulu.
And now Waka gets sloppy seconds. Nice. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the world's most awkward hug.
Just tell me one thing. Have you seen Zanarkand?
It's safe to assume that the Maesters don't know about Dream Zanarkand, and there's really nothing of note in the ruins of Zanarkand apart from obtaining the final Aeon, so what exactly did Keenock mean by this? The moonwalk for a new generation.
Go to Yuna.
I'm a little nervous.
Okay. Don't know how this giant thing got up so high considering it's got no wings, but whatever. Up till now the game has been pretty easy, but this is where the game grabs you by the balls and demands your attention, because if you ain't paying attention, you will die quite easily. I love this fight because of how multi-layered it is compared to anything we've seen before, and even though I'm not big on 10's battle themes, I really like the one that plays here. And this is only the start of the fantastic boss battles. Oh boy. Mind you, I'm a bit uncomfortable with it showing off its gash like that. Cover up already, jeez. Operation Red Shirt is a go. Oh no, the animation budget ran out. Seriously dude, seizure warning. Yevon, I don't feel so good. Seymour has impressive strength as someone who is essentially just a black mage with the ability to summon.
Stand back, Lady Yuna.
Yes.
She says while proceeding to not stand back. Child me was so excited at the prospect of playing as Seymour because I was like, oh wow, he's gonna be a party member. One sin for stabbing me in the back, you piece of shit. Reclining, breathless. So, me on a daily basis. Acha-cha.
Sin is checked.
Thanks for the recap, old man.
In dark times, she must shine bright.
John DiMaggio isn't being that other racist party member in this scene.
Smile, let me see. Is that the Jose Temple?
Anyone else just stand here thinking it's a cutscene? Come on, show of hands. I bet you it was every single one of you.
I am Isaru. I am a summoner. Like you.
I'm Bussy.
What the heck is a child gonna do for you as a guardian, apart from whinge for food, warmth, and V-Bucks?
Isaru, I don't want the default skin. It makes me look like a noob.
We're all out of healing potions. I don't know, maybe just pop out to the inn 3 fucking meters away then.
Ain't much future for a guardian without a summoner, eh?
What? What y'all talking about?
I, a small child of 3 feet, am unable to hear anything that is taller than me. Oh, what a curse. Cloister of Trials. The gang's all going through the trial together this time around, and yet we can still only carry 1 sphere at a time.
You are Oren, no? Can I shake your hand?
Oren, please, shake my hand. But here, let me flex the fuck out first, bro.
Really, there's no rush. Here, your hair.
A summoner with bad hair. What's the world coming to?
Bad hair, they say, as Yuna's appearance remains as untouched as every female character who has to trek through the most treacherous of jungles in every movie ever.
We can all learn a lesson from what has happened to the Crusaders.
I play games to escape from Jehovah's Witnesses hounding me in my own home. Do you think I need them in my video games as well?
It's Kimari's problem. We can't interfere. It's a rule.
Hang on a sec.
We can't interfere. It's a rule.
Oh no, the voice acting budget ran out too. Best field theme in the game, hands down, except for maybe the Zanakin Ruins one. Earning new overdrive modes, the conditions under which your overdrive charges, takes way too long in my opinion. Some characters will barely have any new overdrive modes before the end of the game, and so they're left to take damage to charge the meter instead of anything else, which is less than desirable. Discount My Little Pony, or maybe upgraded My Little Pony. I don't think it's as cool as most of the other Aeons, but if Ixion is one of the weaker designs in the Aeon lineup, that's really saying something. Aeons obviously have to take orders from the summoner who summoned them, but would they really attack other summoners like that? It's all but confirmed that each Aeon is its own entity. There are no copies, because if someone like Belgamine here summons an Aeon, Yuna can't summon the same one. So what, even if Ixion here knows who Yuna is, it's still gonna shove its horn in Yuna's chest because someone else said so?
This is the Moonflow.
You can't catcall a fucking lake, dumbass.
No, I don't think so. It's bad idea, yes. Right, the Zupuff? Is everybody okay?
Whoever decided giving the Hypello this accent should reconsider their career. There's a chest with $5,000 just sitting here, with dozens of people just standing around and not taking it.
Yevon, it decides which Machina we may use and which we may not.
So what kind of Machina may we not use then?
Remember Operation Mihen? That kind.
Or war will rage again.
Sure, banning all guns, Machina, would work for a bit, but you don't need Machina to kill, you just need something sharp and stabby, like a sword, like so many of the inhabitants of Spira seem to carry around. But I'm gonna leave it at that because this issue is pretty relevant at the moment and I am not opening up that wound.
But it's not like the Machina are bad.
Only as bad as their users.
I already said I'm not going there, jeez.
It's because of people like the Albed screwing everything up.
Tempting fate.
Yuna, we'll save you!
How is Waka talking so clearly underwater? Pfft, fireflies, motherfucker.
I'm sorry. We're all okay now.
Yuna.
Orin doesn't scold everyone else for standing up as well. Owaka's already across the moonflow, even though he was back at the other side before we boarded the shoe puff. 15-year-old girls undressing? Listen, I may be a horny slut, but oh, okay, never mind. I don't know if it's just me, but if we go back and compare Riku's eyes to back when Tidus first met her near Barge Temple, she has very different looking eyes. Is it just me? Am I imagining this?
She was the one who helped me before I was washed up on Besaid. She's an Al bed.
Wow, so you like all your life?
Tidus practically finished saying bed, so Waka's a complete numpty for somehow not concluding that Riku's an Albed. Only Riku, or any character who has the steal ability, knows how to open chests during battle, even though Tidus has been opening chests the whole journey. You're supposed to button your coat from the bottom up, Trommel. Your stupid little fashion trend isn't catching on with anybody.
These are the past leaders of the Guado.
They all look the same.
That's actually racist. Nice one, Tidus.
She once lived in this metropolis.
She who?
Even Yuna is sick of the pronoun game.
Lord Braska was entrusting you with a great task. He wanted you to face sin, as Lady Yunalesca did.
Braska expected her child to go off and sacrifice herself to save Spira. Sure, it's for the greater good, but Braska is still a dick to his child.
You okay?
Don't let your parents hear this cutscene, folks.
Why are you still here, sir? I beg your pardon. We Guado are keen to the scent of the far plane.
The humor in this game may be a little hit or miss, but fucking hell if I don't crack up every time I see Tidus give Orin the sniff. Also, foreshadowing or something, who cares?
Aren't you coming?
I do not belong there, searching the past to find the future. This is all that is there. I need it not.
Even though this is some pretty harsh foreshadowing in hindsight, along with the previous scene, they managed to do a pretty good job of hiding it. Here at least, Riku stays behind as well as Orin to sort of deter your possible theory that Orin is unsent. It's a good cover-up. Well, at least until 5 minutes later, when Yuna is sending Lord Jiskel and Orin's like, chest pain! Having chest pain!
Yo, Chapu!
Well, what do you know? Chapu really is Tidus' doppelganger. Right down to the short orange hair and chiseled features. And Waka, what the fuck?
It was his fault that me and my mother...
Tidus' mother appears before him at the far plane, despite never having travelled to the real world or despite no one performing a sending for her. Explanation for this phenomenon is a little ambiguous, so screw it. Fireflies it is. No one notices Lord Jiskel dropping this sphere, so everyone can act surprised about its contents at the most appropriate time to enhance the effect of the twist.
I will go meet with Maester Seymour.
Yuna has a very good voice actor.
Maester Seymour left Guado Salam a short while ago.
I await your favourable reply, Yuna. Anyway, I'm gonna slip out of town and not tell you. Have fun, kiddo.
They say Seymour went to Macarena Temple.
Oh no, we're here.
Scared of lightning cliché. Tidus survives this.
A man by the name of Bilgan appeared. Using Machina, he built towers that served as lightning rods across the plains.
How is Bilgan never struck by lightning while building these towers?
Bilgan was building that tower over there when he was struck and killed by lightning.
Oh. Still sinning it, still stupid, don't care. Sometimes battles become tedious when they're filled with more than one enemy who can really only be attacked by one specific party member, such as here. Waka's pretty much the only one with high enough accuracy to hit these flying fiends, while everyone else has a fraction of a chance. Trauma Center 4, Riku's colonoscopy. Rin just so happens to be at the travel agencies that Tidus and company are visiting, every single time. Jiskel's fear is nowhere near this glitchy sounding when everyone else listens to it. I'm gonna steal a bit from my old Let's Play channel for this, Sin. I know it's poorly edited, but oh well.
The sphere is his will. It says, take care of my son.
His son? Seymour? Well, I know one way to take care of him.
Sure, Yuna, leave the sphere just sitting there, the thing that you don't want anyone to see. Taking a picture of someone without their permission is a crime, jackass. In awe at the size of this lad, absolute unit.
I have something to tell you.
This short discussion out in the open does not result in anyone being struck by lightning.
Next, we're going to Makalania Temple. Yuna can talk with Seymour there. We Guardians will wait until they're done and plan our next move.
Your next move should already be planned. After Makalania, you head to Bevel, then finally to Zanarkand. There's nothing else to plan. Final Fantasy games usually have some sort of crystal motif, but here they kind of forgot to put the crystals in the game, so they said, fuck it, let's make the forest the crystals.
Have you seen Donna?
Like, honestly though, who cares about Donna? It's such an unimportant and forgettable B-plot that it's really hard to care. Actually, B-plot? More like, I don't know, Z-plot.
A butterfly with rainbow wings will lead the way to secret things.
I will not touch that butterfly, 'cause if I do, I may just die. Kimahri's celestial weapon is of no worth, not more so than my unfortunate birth. Reusing bosses as regular enemies. Hey, we're running low on boss designs. Anyone got any ideas? Circle. Okay, interesting, good, yes, but I feel like we should add something else. Rectangle. Perfect!
If you're sitting there watching this, it means you're stuck in Spira like me.
Jack records this sphere for Tidus, even though there's an extremely small chance that Tidus would ever end up in Spira in the first place. He's recording this in Macalania Woods, just outside of Bevelle, where he, Braska, and Auron started their pilgrimage. So it's relatively safe to assume that Jack has no idea about the final Aeon or becoming Sin, so he likely hasn't asked Auron to take care of his son yet.
He was always talking about going home to Zanarkand.
The reason why Auron's dialogue is so good 80% of the time is because of the massive ass collar that hides his lips, so he gets free reign to say whatever he wants, without it needing to be lip-synced. Oh boy, my favourite! Backtracking, especially in a game that's pretty much just been one long fuck-off hallway with almost no shortcuts. I really can't be bothered going back and grabbing the rest of Jack's spheres for this video, so whatever.
He'll be rich by tomorrow, all on account of this celebration thing.
Everybody's celebrating, even though the Guado are just spreading rumours and there's no confirmed date of the wedding? Jumping the gun a bit, eh lads?
Temple not far. Why stop here?
Kimahri would be good at gaming sins.
Lady Yuna, we've been expecting you. We were surprised you decided to come so soon.
Trommel clearly has not heard of phrasing. 11-year-old me had a lot of trouble with the next boss, but we're not sinning the boss for being difficult. I mean, it's really not. What I am sinning here is the 2 to 3 minute long cutscene that plays right before engaging the boss. You know, the cutscene you can't skip. Fucking RPGs, mate, I tell you what. We're gonna riddle your bodies with holes thanks to this massive gun. Anyway, just gonna put that away. Smart move. If only your most powerful attack wasn't also a magic-based attack. But, you know, you do you, man.
Aistra guardian of Yuna. Wika? Yuna kva. Fafem kintran. Krak kva.
Like the rest of the Albed, Riku's intention is to keep the summoners safe. So instead of kidnapping Yuna like she was supposed to, she chooses to become Yuna's guardian. Why? This doesn't solve anything. Yuna's pilgrimage continues and Riku wanders headfirst into the danger the Albed want to protect summoners from.
I can't believe I've been traveling with an Albed, a heathen.
It takes Walker this long to figure out Riku is Albed, even though numerous people, such as Auron back at the Moonflow, figure it out simply by looking at her eyes, which have a sort of spiral shape in them.
Will this move?
Why do they even need the sleds to get to the temple in the first place? It's a 2-minute walk and Walker, Yuna, and Trommel beat everyone there on foot anyway.
Summoners are... well, you could say that they sacrifice themselves to bring happiness to Spira.
She literally says summoners are a sacrifice. How Tidus doesn't get clued in at this stage is admittedly impressive.
The likes of her are not welcome in this hallowed place.
Even this dude could tell Riku was Albed. Walker, what the fuck?
Lord Jisco! A sphere in Lady Yuna's belongings.
Yeah, okay, but the fuck you doing searching Yuna's stuff?
I will leave this world soon, killed by my own son. Whoever is watching this, I implore you to stop Seymour. Stop my son.
Never mind the fact that Seymour's bad news, as if you didn't see it coming, but what about all those people who just heard Jiskel's confession? Trommel shatters Jiskel's sphere later on, but there are people who still know what really happened regardless.
We will protect Yuna from anyone, even a maester.
If he is truly at fault, it must be done.
You'll have much better luck reporting that sphere to the proper authorities rather than becoming vigilantes, carrying out your own justice and complicating matters.
Well, Seymour, I made it, despite your directions.
Superintendent, it's welcome. I hope you're prepared for an unforgettable luncheon.
Yeah.
Seymour!
Please be silent. Lady Yuna prays to the faith.
Make me!
I came to stop you.
I see. You came to punish me, then?
Stop right fucking there or I'm calling the police! Several hours ago, you witnessed Seymour summoning Anima, an all-powerful Aeon that kills enemies with a single blast. It's cool as heck. You want it, right? You want to be able to summon that thing yourself, yeah? Nah, now you gotta fight it. That's why I love this fight. For me, personally, it's one of the biggest oh fuck moments in gaming. Shiva's Well, I mean, she's hot. That counts for something, right?
Wait a minute, it's not our fault at all. Seymour struck first, he's the bad guy.
Tidus, you lying shit. I summoned Shiva and heavenly struck that bare-chested bitch before he could do shit. Cloister of Trials. Trommel was allowed to waddle on out of here, but no, of course we have to do the trial, don't we? It's cool that the developers put in just that little bit more effort to make the save spheres actual objects in universe instead of them being used solely to save the game. But why would Owaka need to use one? When we use it, we can only ever teleport to an airship later on in the game, and no way does Owaka have an airship because, well, no one has an airship. Can he teleport to other save spheres? And if so, why can't we? Discount Pokemon. Everyone survives this. Tidus and the gang end up underneath the Makalania temple, even though they were a fair distance away from it when the lake ice gave way.
She's so together. All grown up, I guess. Well, just give me 5 or 6 more years.
Heh, tell that to all the artists who drew Riku, Ludes.
I wanted to confront Maester Seymour about his father, Lord Jiskel. I wanted to convince him to turn himself in to Yevon's judgment.
In exchange for marriage?
Yes, if that's what it took.
On one hand, it's not worth sinning Yuna's decision to keep her plan to herself. There's nothing particularly wrong with a character who has flaws, and Yuna's want to keep to herself about it is such a flaw. But that's a pretty dumb plan. If Yuna and Seymour were to marry to bring joy and hope to the people of Spira, wouldn't Seymour being locked up in prison or sentenced to death or whatever punishment he gets be extremely demoralizing for the people of Spira?
What did Seymour say?
He didn't say anything. Now I don't even think it was worth it.
So you told him, yet when we rock up to the Chamber of the Faith, Seymour says, I bet you know I killed Jiskel, so why are you even here? Either Yuna never asked Seymour, or he's got the memory span of a goldfish.
We must go to Bavel. We must speak with Maester Micah and explain what has happened.
We have defied Yevon and are now labeled as traitors and infidels. Let's go to the fucking heart of Yevon.
Will you come with us?
I am the troublemaker after all.
Yeah, that's right. You can always count on Aaron to complicate things.
Yeah. Kamari roars and Orin runs off, and...
I never asked you to follow me.
Hey, but that's what friends are for.
Is there something I'm missing here, or is this one of the most nonsensical conversations any set of characters has ever had?
Your singing reminded me of Spira.
Oh, right. You're not originally from Zanarkand, are you?
Tidus never questions Orin being from somewhere other than Zanarkand, which he at the time believed to be the entire world. Sin picks up Tidus and the gang and drops them off in an oasis on the other side of the world that also has no connection to the ocean. Okay then.
Need some help?
Orin Ex Machina.
Are you alright?
Lulu Ex Machina. Thundara only does 118 damage, when normally it does well over 1,000. You were 2 meters away this whole time and didn't bother to step in and help Tidus out with that giant-ass bird? Waka, what the fuck?
There's something I want to tell you, but promise not to say anything.
Waka, what the fuck?
There's a place us Albed call home near here.
Naming your home, home, cliche. The desert has a bunch of signs warning travelers of areas with particularly vicious fiends, but because Riku doesn't feel like just reading it, you'll never know which area it is unless you've translated enough of the Albed language. Riku is henceforth the worst character in the game. I think I speak for everyone when I say these worms can go fuck themselves. All they do is swallow. Story of my life, let me tell you what.
Oh! Who's attacking us?
Let it be known that characters who speak 2 languages will speak both languages in conversation, even when the person on the receiving end doesn't understand one or the other. Dragon Quest, I'm looking at you. Yeah, all I can hear right now is, an annoying cunt! Better hope you got everything you wanted while you were here. This door locks behind you once you go through it with no indication that it'll do so, which is an utter failure of game design.
This place done for.
The Albed said summoners were being sacrificed. That summoners shouldn't have to do a pilgrimage.
Why couldn't they trust guardians to protect the summoners? The Albed had no right stopping their pilgrimage.
The pilgrimages have to stop. If they don't, and they get to Zanarkand, they might defeat Sin. Uni could... But then she... Uni will die, you know?
Okay, for one, take a shot whenever Riku says, you know, at the end of any sentence. I guarantee you'll be deceased in a matter of minutes. On the other hand, this little twist works well on several different levels. My favourite is that it makes repeat playthroughs more interesting. Knowing that summoners die after calling the final Aeon, you'll cringe real hard whenever Tidus says something like, let's come back here and visit after we've defeated Sin. Apart from that, it's a great twist that sets a whole bunch of cool character developments into motion. Most notably and importantly, the transformation of Tidus from whiny brat to slightly less whiny brat. But it also, in my opinion, highlights Yuna's cynicism in that she's willing to kill herself to grant a morsel of happiness to Spira, even though it won't last long, and it's even better when she becomes more idealistic towards the end of the game. There's all sorts of ways to look at this plot beat, and that's why I love it. Damn, son, these guys have been dead for only a little bit and they're already turning into fiends?
And I've been telling Yuna, let's go to Xanarkand together. Let's beat Sin. I told her all the things. Good.
Nobody punches my darling Valefor and gets away with it. A sin for making us rewatch this in the first place, but a mercy win for not forcing us to listen to all that laughing again. I know the intention of the scene, but I don't need to hear it again, thanks. The airship the Albed found at the bottom of the ocean is already fully restored and functional.
And then you just drag her to Xanarkand and make her fight Shin, huh?
Shin?
You're all the same. Let the summoner die so we can live in peace.
Ui, it's Jack.
For someone who's never piloted in their life, Brother sure is doing a good job of commandeering this airship right now. What's up, guys? Welcome back to wrong side of YouTube. I keep calling it that. I've been calling it that for 2 years now. Probably should have waited until you were further away to blow up home, but okay.
Hey, look, don't get so down. Boom! Like happy festival fireworks, yeah?
Waka, what the fuck?
I don't even rightly know how this rig flies, either.
Sid, mate, if I've learned anything during our adventure, it's to blame it on the fireflies.
Vidran! Verfolgt Yuna!
God knows how this footage is being transmitted to them, or how they even located Yuna in the first place. Fireflies? Also, whoa! Holy fuck, Yuna's hot! I mean, she's very pretty, and she'll grow up to be a beautiful woman.
I'm glad Yuna's okay and all, but what's with those fancy clothes?
Walker doesn't know what a wedding dress is.
The guardian worm, Evre, the great sacred beast, protector of Bavel.
The red carpet has teeth.
And Orin continues to grow more badass with every passing line of dialogue.
We gotta keep our distance, boys, but we can't let her get too far away.
Roger, I'll give the commands.
Not alone, you won't.
Only Tidus and Riku can issue the command to move in or pull back for unexplained and unnecessary reasons. Now, how's this for a little bit of gameplay and story segregation? Everybody can freely leap at Evre with their swords and spears and whatnot without ever falling off the ship. Walker can also, as usual, throw and catch his blitzball perfectly, even though it would probably get swept away in the wind the moment it leaves his hand. How the crap did the Aurochs lose 10 years straight again? We interrupt this video game to bring you Ratchet and Clank. Also, what? Discount Hitmonlee.
This has gone far enough.
Oh no, a man with a gun. It's not like we just took a whole bunch of slugs to the chest getting up here or anything.
You would play at marriage just for a chance to send me?
Is Seymour truly this daft? Yuna already killed him once and knows what Seymour did. Marriage would be pretty uncomfortable with this knowledge. Kiss equals marriage, apparently. No vows, no pronouncing of man and wife, just a kiss, I guess. Keenock ain't gonna be shooting anybody the way he's holding that gun. It's more jittery than my leg. Seriously, my leg won't stop shaking, please help.
Throw down your weapons. Let them go. Or else.
Do a flip!
Don't worry. I can fly.
Yeah, remember that giant fucking bird I have? Anyone? No? I know I already gave Valefor 100 wins in part 1, but I'll take any opportunity to proclaim my love for this magnificent creature. Still the best Aeon, still not allowed to argue.
Cover your eyes!
He truly is that daft. Despite being on the run from Yevon, Yuna decides the best place to go would be the Bavel Temple to get her next Aeon. This will definitely not end up with the party being caught in an obvious trap. Cloister of Trials. Oh no. No, not this one, not this one. I'd rather skin my knees on your mum's crusty feet than do this asinine stand on a platform, hope the arrow flashes the right way so you can press X to go that way, but if not, you're just gonna fall off a cliff and loop back around, and this can happen about 4 or 5 times before it works correctly. Also, everything looks the same, so I literally have no idea where I'm going and what the fuck I'm doing. Bullshit! I fucking hate this garbage. I hate it so much that I'm ending part 2 right here because I'm so fucking mad right now. Good job, Bavel Temple. It's all your fault.
Wait! Don't come out!
Predictable trap is predictable.
To those on trial, believe in Yevon and speak only the truth.
Maester Kelk Ronso.
Thanks for the timely name drop, Walking Encyclopedia.
Summoner Yuna, you have inflicted dire injury upon Maester Seymour Guado, conspired with the Albed and joined in their insurrection.
Yuna did nothing of the sort. While Tidus and the others could be sentenced for doing so, Yuna was held prisoner by the Albed before being forced by Seymour's side in Bavel, giving her no opportunity to conspire.
Maester Seymour is already dead. Grand Maester Micah, please send Seymour now.
Send the unsent to where they belong? Send the dead? You would have to send me too.
Yeah, corrupt religion cliche, but this is a twist that I genuinely did not see coming. Not only could Tidus and Orin squeeze out of these cages quite easily, but as they've proven before, they could jump the English Channel and barely break a sweat. Their captivity was not thought through.
Why is it everything in Spira seems to revolve around people dying?
The spiral of death.
I see Orin as a man of culture as well.
The faith are the souls of the dead. Even the maesters of Yevon are unsent. Only sin is reborn, and then only to bring more death. It is a cycle of death, spiraling endlessly.
Our game explores a world that undergoes a never-ending spiral of death. What should we call this world? Just knock the L off of spiral and we're set, mate.
The summoner Yuna, daughter to High Summoner Braska. She may be of some use to us alive.
Then why did you send her to die?
She has disturbed the order of Yevon. She cannot be allowed to live.
Then why did you put an exit down there?
There must be an exit somewhere. We search.
Orin, if you'll just cock your head a little to the right, you'll see the exit you so hopelessly search for. Was it so hard to just copy-paste Yuna's animations onto Isaru so he isn't just standing there like a ding-dong? There's no reason for Orin, Lulu, and Kamari to not fight the Aeons alongside Yuna here. Naming your Valefor Wing. It's almost as bad as me naming all my Pokemon what they were based on. Turtle, Caterpillar, Star, Rat. Oh, how I miss them. Also, Isaru chooses to summon Valefor instead of the superior but only in stats Bahamut, and when he does summon it, he commands it to do nothing. Also, the name Bahamut can get fucked. I don't know whether it's Bahamut or Bahamut, and let's be honest here, no one does. Apparently this is the exit, but there's not a single door to be found. Maybe Yevon is smarter than it looks. So there's supposed to be some mechanic in this fight against Zombie Evray to do with opening locks or something, but truthfully, I don't know how this fight is supposed to work, and I've never been bothered to look it up, because you can just throw 2 Phoenix Downs at this guy and he'll die. A win, then, for a boss fight so easily cheesed it may as well be a toasted sandwich. Mysterious Villain Fog, registered trademark.
Come, Lady Yuna.
Seymour, my man, you gotta learn about phrasing.
I will take from you your strength, Yuna, your life, and become the next Sin. I will destroy Spira. I will save it. Unpleasant. Very well. I will give you your death. You seem to want it so.
This game just keeps making up its own rules. Now he can just absorb Fireflies and that makes him stronger? What?
Run! Protect Yuna!
Right away, Arnie. I hope the chopper is ready. Seymour has no qualms with letting everyone stand around, argue about fighting, and then running past him. Can't just stand at the water's edge. No, you gotta go in, fully clothed and everything.
Forget all about Sin. About being a summoner. Forget all that. You know, live a normal life.
Between the Yevonites, who are looking for a group of traders, and a giant flying whale who causes a Class 0 apocalypse wherever it goes, I find it hard to believe anyone could live a normal life.
What about after the game?
We'd go out and have fun.
In the middle of the night?
No problem. Xanarkand never sleeps.
I don't mean to keep laughing, but ha!
Let's go to the sea. Before the sunrise, the stars fade, then the horizon glows, almost like it's on fire.
Congratulations, Tidus, you just described the sunrise, a concept not mutually exclusive to Xanarkand. How does Tidus manage to look like a different character in every single CGI cutscene? I'm not going to pretend like this is the best romance in video games ever, but it's definitely up there. Tidus and Yuna have a particular chemistry that really works, and they change to each other's character and perspective for the better. As Yuna travels the world, performs sendings, and submits herself to the idea of killing herself for the greater good, Tidus becomes more grounded and accepting of reality. As Tidus questions Yevon in every way possible, Yuna broadens her horizons. When you look past the sometimes iffy dialogue and voice direction, they're a pair of well-realized characters, and seeing them together in this scene is almost touching. That, plus Suteki Dane, is the perfect backing track for this moment. What a great scene. I never understood what's going on here though. Are they having a pash underwater? Are they floating in the air? And are they so into the moment they don't care whether they're drowning or being whisked away by unknown magics?
Many summoners stray from their path and lose their way here.
I don't know whether Oren's speaking literally or metaphorically, but if summoners walk out onto this cliff, don't spot the very obvious path to Mount Gagazet and go, this is too hard, then summoners were never Spira's only hope.
We'll save Yuna even if she calls the final Aeon. And if we can't think of something, we find another way.
If we can't think of something, we'll think of something else. A truly sophisticated and well thought out plan.
Lord Seymour's commands must be obeyed. You will come.
Does no one in Spira know about phrasing?
I warn you, the Maester doesn't need you alive.
She may be of some use to us alive.
The battle against Defender X could potentially be a very hard boss fight, with its standard attacks dealing over 2,000 damage. Or, you could wait until it uses Blast Punch, which damages you for half your current HP, then get Tidus to use Provoke. Now this absolute lad is stuck hitting Tidus and he can't kill him. This game is broken and I love it.
The sacred heights of Gagazet welcome you.
Little bit of an overreaction from Tidus and Walker here.
Biran and Yenke gone.
I wonder what they're up to. It's probably nothing.
Tempting fate.
Kimari shame, Ronso brothers. Kimari forget his birth.
It's not his fault you broke his horn and shamed him forever, but whatever. The game is merciful enough that Biran and Yenke's stats are lowered depending on how much you've been using Kimari. While every other character has a defined role in battle, Kimari can follow one of many paths on the sphere grid, at the cost of starting those paths on the grid much later than the other characters, making him overall weaker and probably leading you to not using him as much. So props to the devs for thinking of this.
I wanted to see Yuna's statue too, but I wanted to see it with Yuna by my side.
Biran and Yenke's singing voices are as rough as sandpaper, but all the Ronso together sound as smooth as butter. This is the spot where Braska recorded the sphere, which means the sphere has been sitting here, untouched, for 10 years. Not even the intense winds and blizzards blew it off the mountain or covered it in snow.
Summoners that die up here aren't sent to the far plane.
Why not?
I mean, really, dude? Between the map and the game camera not being the same direction and the map being this confusing mess, you'll forgive me if I get lost in this literal corridor with two small branching paths. Who designed this fucking thing?
Huh?
Of course. Why didn't Yuna send him back at Bevelle while she had the chance, so we didn't have to fight him a third time?
Allow me to say something to the last Ronso before I leave. They threw themselves at me to bar my path. One after another.
No.
That may have had an impact if only you'd actually killed all the Ronso, but most of them still live. Whoever designed this boss needs a good hiding. Seriously, I will find them and beat them over the arse like the disobedient child they probably were. Oh, I know what sounds like fun. Let's have Seymour perform an attack that almost no one except Oren can survive, and even then, Oren's not fast enough to outspeed Seymour before he turns Oren into a zombie and casts full life. Seymour Flux? More like Seymour fucks you in the arse until your anus cries blood and corn-filled turds. Seymour Flux can get Seymour fucked. Other Seymour Flux pun. Shut up, I'm flustered. Also, unskippable 3-minute cutscene before the fight that only adds insult to injury.
Sin is my old man. My old man became Sin. I felt him. Inside.
Gonna need a phrasing counter at this rate. A fan that spins this slow is just a waste of power. Tidus' mum has 2 photos of the exact same thing.
Zanarkand was doomed to oblivion. That's why we tried to save it, if only in a memory. The remaining summoners and the townspeople that survived the war, they all became faith for the summoning.
You mean Sin?
No, I mean this place. A Zanarkand that never sleeps.
The people? What? They're all dreams? Me? Too?
Honestly, I don't have a lot to say about this one. This is just a really good twist in every sense of the word. I wish I had more to say about this, but I'm not the smart boy that you all give me credit for.
Both you and your father have been touched by sin.
Both you and your father have been touched by sin, title of your sex tape. Reusing bosses as standard enemies. This is one of the most weirdly specific puzzles I've seen. It seems to be roughly based on each character's sphere grid color, so what happens if other summoners come along and their sphere grid colors are different? Was this puzzle made specifically for Tidus, Riku, and Waka? The Sanctuary Keeper's version of regen completely breaks the rules by regenerating health when it's not even its turn. Waka, proving his quote-unquote intelligence once more, impales himself in his own unnecessarily spiky blitzball. Waka, what the fuck?
What's so funny?
You remind me of myself.
You remind me of me when I was your age, cliché. Not my proudest fat, but I'll take it. Understandable. I had to put the TV up to my ears during Castlevania Season 1 because everyone seems to talk like they're doing something naughty and their parents might be watching.
Kimari, thank you. Thank you so much. And I've always liked your broken horn.
I've always liked your small penis. Your shame is my joy.
So this is what it feels like. It's a much more wonderful feeling than anything I had ever imagined. Wonderful. But it hurts sometimes.
How to Get Me to Cry number 127. Say it hurts. Seriously, that shit gets me every time. Here's the opening cutscene. Again, for a third time.
Let's go.
This is it. This is the best song in the game. You know what it is, right? It's that one sound effect that, yeah, the I love that sound. It's so empty and hollow and kind of depressing. Why am I excited over this sound? I mean, the song as a whole is amazing, and it's even better that it overrides the normal music when you go into battle, but, oh, man, I could gush about this song for hours. Why do fantasy and sci-fi games always have soldiers and the like who wear helmets that they, I'm assuming, can't see out of? Is it too hard to animate eyes? Just texture them on like all the other NPCs in this game. What is with this camera, and why is it horny for Lulu's calamitous memories? Reusing bosses as regular enemies.
Are the trials ahead?
I know this is a Japanese game dubbed over in English, but come on.
Probably. Here too, huh? Give me a break.
The memory of Jacked would be good at gaming sins. Cloister of Tetris. I almost want to be mad at the Spectral Keeper because of the whole counterattack thing, but I don't know. This is honestly one of the more fun and satisfying boss fights in the game, in my opinion. I mean, it's hard, but what do you expect? We're almost at the end here.
Lord Zayon his soul is gone.
You mean there is no final Aeon?
Auron, you knew this was gonna happen, didn't you?
Why didn't you tell us?
If I had told you the truth, would that really have stopped you from coming?
Probably. If there was no final Aeon, there's no point hiking over a fucking mountain to go to Zanarkand, is there? The more powerful someone is in the Final Fantasy universe, the less clothes they wear. Them's the rules.
Now, choose. You must choose the one whom I will change to become the faith of the final summoning.
Oh, stop it with the cool plot twists already. The win counter might break. These things are fucking expensive, dude. However, while summoners are aware of the sacrifice they must make, has no summoner ever questioned why when previous summoners died, one of their guardians also died alongside them? Or do they just see it as a weird 1,000-year-long coincidence?
If you want everything, you'll end up with nothing.
But I want everything!
Tidus, I just got done saying you'd matured into a good character a few minutes back, and now you come at us with this shit. Thanks for making me look like an idiot.
No!
The memory of Auron pops up at the most convenient of times just to show how similar Tidus and Auron really are.
Now choose. Who will be your faith? Who will be the one to renew Spira's hope?
No one. I would have gladly died. I live for the people of Spira, and would have gladly died for them. But no more. The final summoning is a false tradition that should be thrown away. I will live with my sorrow. I will live my own life.
The perfect way to cap off Yuna's character development, I think. Though she once would have given her life, she takes her life back in her hands and claims it for her own again.
Now! This is it! Now is the time to choose. Die and be free of pain, or live and fight your sorrow. Now is the time to shape your stories. Your fate is in your hands!
Auron's badassery continues to shine through. Not even random and out-of-place glitchy screen effects can make him look like less of a badass.
Well, I'm fighting!
Okay, thanks Riku, I guess. A lot of people hate this fight with a passion, but I think it's one of, if not the best fight in the game. It takes the zombie status and gets creative with it. You can choose to heal your party members of zombie status, but in doing so leaves you susceptible to Megadeath, which kills any non-undead instantly, so the battle becomes a balancing act. Do I leave characters undead while Unalesca casts regen for a steady health decrease? When do I queue a zombie? Final Fantasy X has some great bosses, but this one takes the cake for me. Slap those wins on, baby! Although, Megadeath? Really? Between this and Metallica in Dragon Quest, Japanese RPGs are stupid. Mind Crush.
I don't know how just yet, but I'll find out.
Ooh, nice turn. You go, Tidus, you earned that paycheck.
There's something you should know.
please be gay, please be gay, please be gay.
I am also an unsent.
Ah, dang it.
When Braska and Jecht died defeating Sin, I just couldn't accept it. I came back here, tried to avenge them, but she struck me down. Somehow I made my way, crawling down Mount Gagazet.
That's quite the distance to be going with a fatal wound, which, by the way, all she did was knock you back. Couldn't have done much, right? Also, unlike every other Unsent, Orin has aged considerably without any explanation. Can Unsent change their appearance? Did Orin force himself to age to mask his undead status? And speaking of undead status, if he's dead, why does white magic work on him? And how can he get inflicted with zombie status? I need details, damn it! Shit, I think I have feelings. We left our kids on the ground. Safer for them. Yes, it's much safer on the ground where the giant whale can fucking obliterate them. Don't think I didn't forget about the stupid side quests that unlock each party member's celestial weapon, and the sigils and crests required to power them up. First off, Tidus's Calibulg requires you to beat the Chocobo race with a time of 0 seconds. Balloons, which reduce your time, are placed randomly and they can appear in such a way that you can't achieve this time. So it's all up to luck, let alone the stupid birds that come out of nowhere and stop you. All this can get fucked. Orin's Masamune isn't too hard, but the idea of going back and capturing at least one of every enemy from 10 different areas can get fucked. I already mentioned it, but Wakka's World Champion requires you to... I didn't even fully understand the conditions, but the bottom line is that you have to play a lot of Blitzball, and that idea can get fucked. Lulu's Onion Knight requires you to dodge 200 lightning strikes consecutively in the Thunder Plains. Not cumulatively, but consecutively. In a row. There's an easy exploit for this where you can trigger a lightning strike by running near a certain crater, but still, get fucked. Riku's God Hand requires you to complete the Cactua Village side quest in the Sanubia Desert, which is just a whole lot of back and forth, which can also get fucked. And Kamari... I mean, who cares about Kamari's Spirit Lance? You gotta catch 7 blue butterflies in Makalania Woods to power it up anyway, which... yeah, nah, get fucked. Yuna's is the only one that is remotely fun to acquire. All you gotta do is capture some monsters and fight Belgamine in Remium Temple a couple of times. But the Chocobo racing, the Blitzball, the lightning dodging, the butterfly catching... I really don't think Squaresoft could have come up with a more tedious way to obtain these weapons and power them up. It really is just not enjoyable in the slightest. I'm sorry to do this, but 50 sins. Only Tidus, Wakka, and Riku can swim, so how did the rest of the party get down here?
My son, do you not hate him? I wanted to give him the strength to live by himself, and so I became a faith.
Thinking about it, Seymour and his mother's journey to Zanarkand would have been almost impossible. Seymour was a child and his mother was terminally ill, and yet they claimed the Aeons and blasted through Mount Gagazet without breaking a sweat. There's even that 3-person puzzle in the Gagazet cavern to think about. Anima can be a bit of a pain in the butt to get, but finally obtaining that Aeon that Seymour used against you all those hours ago is so worth it. Only players attempting the Monster Arena side quest know the pain of having to run across the Calmlands every time you want to return there.
What's a faith doing in a place like this?
They say it was stolen from a temple long ago.
If summoners have to visit all the temples and obtain all the Aeons, wouldn't stealing a faith and hiding it mean that summoners can't complete their pilgrimage? Seizure warning, for shit's sake! This unsent summoner can still summon. Is that how unsent even work? Who would have thought the theme song for The Young and the Restless would have made for a bangin' battle theme? Also, if you remember The Young and the Restless, you qualify for a veteran's discount. Whenever Yojimbo dies, his dog remains. What happens to him? You can't just abandon a dog? I don't care if I killed you, you sick fuck!
Oh, Yevon seems to be in a state of confusion. Why, yesterday, they called me out of the blue and made me captain of the guard.
Of all people, Shalinda? Bumbling Jehovah's Witness Shalinda? Was there no one more qualified to be captain of the guard?
We need you to tell as many people as you can. A ship in the sky will sing the hymn of the faith. When they hear it, we need everyone to sing along.
If they do, we might be able to defeat Sin.
If everyone in the world sung at the same time, it would barely be much louder than a cannon. The population of Spira is considerably smaller than our world, so the effect would be even quieter. There's likely no way everyone in Spira could sing loud enough to calm Sin.
We won't let them down.
Never mind, that one lady is plenty loud enough.
You don't need this anymore, right?
You don't ever notice this bulky-ass sphere go missing from her person. Where the fuck was Sin aiming? Loud noises! Explosions! What? No, seriously, what? And after all that, they were never blown off the ship? I know you have to suspend your disbelief, but what the fuck is happening right now?
Closer! Go closer!
Just a minute!
Sorry, son, I can't hear you over the music. I'm not very good at American accents. Sin's Gravager, a long-distance spell, can be avoided by simply moving away from it. Walker is first to jump off the airship, but in the next scene, he's the last one to land. Oh boy, we get to fight this thing again.
The Crusaders would be out of a job if it was this easy, huh?
Walker would be good at gaming Sins.
If I summon an Aeon, Yu Yevon will join with it. What if Yu Yevon jumps again?
Then we'll take it down again.
This works. This also works. Mind you, there's not much in the video game world that's as daunting as facing Sin head-on. You have to defeat him in a set number of turns before he blasts you away and causes a game over, and it makes for an incredibly tense boss fight that's worth a couple of wins, I think. The first half of the final dungeon is water. Just water. Nothing particularly interesting about it, just water. Look at him, he thinks he's people. Also, when summoning Ifrit, this big old turtle only ever breathes fire on you, which Ifrit absorbs, meaning you'll never lose. And this is what you get for not sending him. Again. Between the synths in the middle and the almost prog-inspired beat towards the end, Seymour's battle theme fucking bops, I don't care what anyone says. And the remastered version is even better, to be honest. Literally a perfect boss theme. Considering this is the final battle against Seymour though, it's nowhere near as hard as Seymour Flux. It can be, if you don't know what you're doing, but it's pretty easy to cheese. Just use an Aeon that counters whatever element he currently is, or brute force your way through. He only has 80,000 HP, which is minuscule by this point.
You would oppose me as well? So be it.
Even Seymour's mum is sick of his shit. I also just realized I didn't slap any wins on for Bahamut, so here's my opportunity. He's pretty cool. I mean, he's no Valefor, but he gets the job done. We call this area Starwipe Alley. Now, I need my own version of the Starwipe. This area gives you all sorts of cool weapons and items, none of which you'll be able to properly use because you've gone past the point of no return. Also, fuck this camera, which keeps turning for no reason and obscuring your view of these icicles. I'm incredibly lucky that I only ever encountered one Malboro in this playthrough, and I was able to escape it even though it hit me with bad breath. Which, for the uninformed, if you get hit by bad breath, there's a very good chance you're gonna get game ended. Fuck Malboros, man. Is it Malboro or Malboro? I'm not going back and recording my line again, but I don't care. Hey, kid whose name I forget. Did I even give you a name? Man, all that booze, huh? Ha! Weirdest hi I've ever heard.
You've really grown.
Yeah, but you're still bigger.
Well, I am Sin, you know.
That's not funny.
Tidus has a horrible sense of humor.
Dad?
Yeah.
I hate you.
I promise this will be quick! Hit me with all you got, Dad!
A fight between father and son, backed up by heavy metal. The recipe for one of the most kick-ass boss battles of all time. The U Pagodas are a massive pain in the ass, not necessarily because they heal jacked, but because their animation takes so long, and they get so many turns. U Pagoda? More like U Pago jump off a cliff. Sorry. Yojimbo requests a fee for his services, which begs the question, what does a faith need gil for? Booze? Hookers?
You'll cry. You're gonna cry. You always cry. See? You're crying.
I hate you, Dad.
The game has to cut to CG to show Tidus crying, which is a win because it makes the scene so much more emotional. A win for the crying boy. And now we're fighting on top of a giant floating sword. The main reason why the final dungeon is Sin was so that the devs could just think of the first utterly stupid idea and make it so. Because who cares? Fireflies, motherfucker! Never let your players name things. It's never a good idea. Blasphemy, I say, making me kill Valefor. This game has the goal to force me to kill the best Aeon. For shame, I say.
After we beat you, Yevon, I'll disappear.
No, what do they do to Decisive Battle? I've never oofed so hard in my life. Yes, now is definitely the best time to tell them right before they fight you Yevon. They're not going to be distracted by you disappearing forever or anything, definitely not. In this and the previous battle, there's practically no chance of you losing. If you die, you're revived by auto life. That's a sin in and of itself, but it turns the final battle against Yu Yevon into more of an elaborate puzzle. Yu Yevon cannot be beaten by brute force alone, as any attack causes it to use Curaga, healing it for 9,999 HP. So you have to find a way to break the damage cap, have the celestial weapons use double cast, or find a way to exploit its healing magic, inflict zombie, cast reflect, or even some other indirect way, like using a candle of life to cast doom. I don't know if a lot of these things were intentional, but it makes for an interesting final battle, if nothing else. Me? I don't feel so good.
Don't stop. It's been long enough. This is your world now.
Can't help to be a badass even in your final moments, eh, Oren? What a goddamn legend. Anima appears as one of Yuna's Aeons in this cutscene, even if you haven't obtained her yet.
Goodbye.
Hey!
Yuna!
There's honestly not a lot to say here, except that I believe without a doubt that this is one of the greatest and most satisfying endings to a video game of all time. It's beautiful, it'll stay in your mind for weeks, and it'll make even the driest of eyes cry once more. It's as close to a perfect ending as I think it could have been. You will wonder why I take my namesake from Final Fantasy X? It's because, despite its issues, it's an incredible game, and one worthy of the Final Fantasy name. Now, slap on those wins before I start bawling my eyes out. If Tidus is inside Yuna, then nah, I'm not going to ask her to ruin the moment. Lulu could give less of a fuck about Tidus fading away, and this does not surprise me in the least. All these people gathered here for a 2-minute speech from Yuna about Sin being dead and it being time to rebuild. What a waste of time and energy. Sequel baiting. While the Al Bhed base is under attack in the Sanubia desert, an alarm will sound with someone screaming in Al Bhed. He's apparently saying Ajunoya Itan, which means everyone under, but it sounds exactly like I'm annoying, huh, in English. It very, very much is. One sin for hiding the chest for the Suncrest in the room you fight Yunalesca in, and then trolling the player with Dark fucking Bahamut in the way if you miss it, and try to go back and get it later. Lulu has a victory animation where she leans forward, and due to the way the game works, where the character who kills the last enemy's animation plays, and due to the fact that Lulu has low agility and often goes last, and there are a large amount of enemies specifically designed for Lulu to kill, you're gonna see a lot of boobs. Whether this is a plus or minus is your choice. 3 wins for the battle music, especially the remastered edition. Never ceasing to make the player feel so hopeful, optimistic, and outright badass even in the scariest of combat scenarios. The cutscene with Riku in Guado Salam. Some people don't even know that there is one. Lulu's scene is a default of that matter. It's probably the first time where the player notices in-game mechanics based on points of affection / attraction, or whatever it's called, that Tidus receives through the gameplay, whether it's by talking to a person or by healing him or her during battle. I guess in order to get the scene with Riku in Guado Salam, the fastest way is to heal her 80 times or so. The problem is that there's not much space to do it because of the point where Riku joins the party. There's only one section where you can participate in battle before entering Guado Salam, and it's pretty short. Unskippable cutscenes, meaning you've got to hear, let's go to Zanarkand, we'll find something there, after about the 5,000th fucking try at Seymour Flux. Also dying to Yunalesca means having to sit through the entire 5-minute cutscene all over again. They could have fixed this in the HD version, but nope. The fact that there is a huge gap in difficulty between the final boss and the extra bosses, forcing you to grind no matter what. One win because you're finally doing a different type of ill. Hey, it's the guy who made me say Nick. Final Fantasy X is linear and no one blinks an eye, but Final Fantasy XIII is linear and everyone loses their minds. One win for the expert mode sphere grid being very non-linear and letting you decide what paths you want to take at the start of the game. The fact that Tidus can be a master swordsman with no prior training, that's a sin. bitch. Add a win for the ability to name summons. It's a small thing, but the only other Final Fantasy that let us do that, as far as I know, was 8. Final Fantasy X? That's a strange title for a Ratchet & Clank game. Is anyone else annoyed about how it gets to a point in the game where quick hit is your best option to fight the super bosses? Walker, who absolutely hates the Albed, has no idea that Yuna is half Albed. Now I know the game stated that he was kept in the dark about Yuna's ancestry, but think about it. Everybody knows she was the daughter of High Summoner Braska, previous Vanquisher of previous Vanquisher of Sin and public hero. It was also stated that Braska had been previously disgraced due to him marrying an Albed, meaning that his marriage and Yuna's conception should have also been public knowledge. So why doesn't Walker, or anyone who hates the Albed, even know this about Yuna? Scene does not contain a lap dance.
I see. You came to punish me then.
ディオから前金をもらっている。それをやれよ。
やれやれ。てめえ正真正銘の史上最低な男だぜ。てめえのつけば金では払えねえぜ。
Thank you guys so much for your patience on this. Gonna be honest, as much as I was looking forward to sinning Final Fantasy X, it was absolute hell on earth to edit. It felt like such a damn chore. I want to talk about the future of EWAR. First off, that acronym. Yeesh. Sounds like Nick trying to sing Rock Lobster.
There goes a dogfish.
EWAR.
It's a terrible acronym, so from here on out, I think I'm going to change the name of the series from Everything Wrong and Right With to Everything Right and Wrong With. It rolls off the tongue a bit easier and makes it sound like the "and right with" part is less of an afterthought, and the acronym becomes the much more easy to pronounce E-Raw. Also keep an eye out for a new series to go alongside it called E-Smackdown. Kidding. But I think this is a change for the good, and hopefully everyone doesn't mind it and it doesn't affect my SEO too badly. Hopefully. YouTube, throw me a bone here. Secondly, when I was sinning Ratchet & Clank, it was easy because the next game to sin would already be set in stone. But now that we're not restricted to Space Rat and Sentient Lunchbox, now I have to go through the effort of actually choosing games to sin. So while I haven't fully decided yet, I'm thinking that I'd like to add a new reward for all my Patreon supporters. Anybody throwing me money every month will be able to vote for the next game to be sinned from 2, 3, maybe even 4 different choices. It'll either be the standard $1 tier or a new $2 tier, I haven't fully decided yet. It'll either be a part of the standard $1 tier or part of a new $2 tier. I'm not completely sure about that yet. Also, I've been considering early access videos as a Patreon reward as well. I hadn't done it before because I heard that making a video private or unlisted or whatever for 24 hours kind of hurts SEO, but if you guys are literally paying for the privilege, then that's kind of a moot point. So while I haven't fully decided, that's probably what's going to happen with my Patreon at some point, because the rewards I currently have are shit and I should feel bad. So once again, thank you for all your patience. Expect an onslaught of reviews for the next couple of weeks, as I'll be covering the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Spyro A Hero's Tale, and of course, E-Raw, Jack and Daxter. As ever, thank you to all my beautiful patrons. Mitchell Reese, Nation McAltile, Pierre Cretem, Sheepy, Loomis Doomis, Scubo, Tyler Kazuba, Chatter Estop, Gorpnikan, whatever, Cooper James Price, Sebastian Orbe, The Dervinator, Nathaniel Forrest, Travis Miranda, Thomas Hart, Lazaro Dave, Dalek Boy, The Ruby Red Rose, and Laurent LaCroix. I keep forgetting. You told me which one was correct and I still forget. And of course, thank you to all my patrons. Your support will help me get a PC that actually works, so I really do appreciate the support. Anyway, that's enough out of me. Catch you next time. I'm gonna go and never think about this game again.